Before we get stuck into the painting, I wanted to let you know about my online course. With a growing collection of weekly videos, there's always something new to look forward to. Click the button in the top right to sign up today. Now, over to the easel. Even though I'm painting a tractor, but I think what makes this scene exciting is the lighting. And for many years, I never really painted backlit scenes. I'm not sure why, but maybe I didn't quite know how to do it. And that's normally one of the things with painting, is that we seem to be given or gifted certain skills and abilities, and what we don't get given, we pretty well have to learn on the job. So I think I've probably now been painting backlit scenes for 15 to 16 years, but it did take me a while. But I've really embraced the genre of backlit, or what in Australia we would normally call looking into the light. But I do like the idea of backlit, because it normally does get us thinking of where the light's coming from and where the shadows will appear, and I think that is the key. Even though I've got some fairly darks in, that's more for good measure than what's actually going to be required later on. Because if there's one thing that I have found with backlit scenes, one, they can sometimes appear a little cold in their finished painting, so that's why I would like to bring in a little bit of extra colour, even though I'll know that it's not going to be that orange or that bright or that colourful. But also I need to unify shapes as well, because one of the great beauties of a backlit scene is how it gives us almost a profile. So if this was a figure or a cow, it sharpens up the profile. We get that edge lighting, which is so magnificent to paint, but it means that we do need to get as much depth, say in the big area of shadow of the tractor. So that's where those values on the tractor, the reds, the tyres, the rims, all of those big shapes do really require depth and quite a bit of sensitivity. So from 16 years of painting backlit scenes, that's probably a couple of the real takeaways. And there'll be quite a bit of reflected light as well, especially in that shape, which is one of what we would call a caravan that you would tow behind you on the car. But it's a white caravan, so there's quite a bit of reflected light from the ground. That's why that yellow ochre, and then a little bit of blue from the sky. And then the light, direct light on top. And this is where we're thinking in terms of edges as well. So I want the strongest highlighted edge on the top. That's what's really going to drive most of where I want the viewer to look. Maybe the other area is the light and shapes on the tyre, that back tyre, where we'll get that lovely chunky tyre tread. And it's funny, it's for a practical reason, for wet ground and mud, but for the painter, it's a great way to build up texture and contrast and visual interest. That's where I'm really driving, pardon the pun, the scene is with that tyre tread ultimately. But notice how I've interlocked the tractor with the caravan, and then just use the background as a backdrop, getting a little bit of visual information in there, but not too much. Because once again, in a backlit scene, we almost want to think of it as a smoky day, and so the background's going to be the softest area. We don't want it fighting with the mid-distance or the foreground, or our strongest highlights. And you may notice also with the wheels, the tyres, the rims, I will need 2, 3, sometimes 4 goes at getting it just right. Because they do, and it's not due to the degree of difficulty, it's more just to give the paint a little bit of not drying time, tacking off time or setting up time to be able to come back in and do those more subtle little reflected lights. There's some lovely little bits of blue on the bottom of that front tyre that I just put that little bit of orange on. There's some little subtleties that does take time to get the order of importance in. But you'll notice that the highlights so important. Even on the steering wheel, there's going to be a lovely little highlight coming on there where it's got that spoked, or on the top of where it's just being touched by a little bit of sunlight. And the tyre tread is quite a tricky bit of drawing to get to work as well. So that's where coming back in with some of those background shadows up under the arch of the back wheel, down near where the bottom of the engine or the main chassis is, just to come in and help redraw. And because it's a red tractor and there's still some colour and light in the background and all the reflected light, I was very hesitant to put too much colour in the foreground. So I thought I would go with the more sandy, dusty, and it is quite a drought-prone area. This is in the outback of Queensland. Interesting thing was, I wasn't ever sure if I'd ever been to the outback, but once getting to this area, the locals would say, "Oh, here in the outback," and I thought, great. I was actually in this area when I was 10 years old, and about 10 years ago as well. So the legendary Australian outback lives on through this painting. So now I'm also trying to get as much depth in that car shadow underneath the tractor as well. I think that's a super important part, not to make the shadow too dark, too solid, that it feels flat. So we're still trying to get a little bit of a depth and distance, but also using some of the little fallen bits of twigs and branches just to get a bit of movement going underneath there as well. Probably that car shadow from the exhaust pipe was giving me a little bit of grief. I like the idea of using it as a lead-in line, but it definitely was. And so sometimes you've got to let go of your preconceived ideas as well. I think that's one of the other takeaways from this painting.